From the city of brotherly love, this is Shark Bite Biz with David Strausser.
You just arrived to the newest episode of Shark Bite Biz. I'm your rockstar wannabe host, David Strausser, and this is your place to learn how to grow a business during complete global chaos. This episode is brought to you by our amazing sponsor, an SAP and Acumatica Gold partner, Stellar One. If your business is still on QuickBooks, if you're doing manual processes with Excel sheets, let's get you to Stellar Space. Let's get your business to the next level and break through any barriers preventing growth. Reach out to either me or StellarOneConsulting.com or StellarOne.io, and we'll help your business get to the next level. Now, let's get back to today's episode. We're going to talk about a better way of drinking water, innovation, technology, all that good stuff wrapped into one. So who do we have today? None other than Mario Brainovac. Mario is an entrepreneur, researcher, and a visionary in the field of health and wellness. For years, he ran a successful international advertising agency and production house. He was always very passionate about health and wellness and finding natural ways to heal, regenerate, and restore delicate balance between body, mind, and spirit. This led him to establish a natural pharmaceutical company that successfully helped people for years. After a while, he became very passionate about water. Who isn't, right? Realizing its extraordinary significance, he established with New Earth Technologies, a company that offers the miracle of Anemo, and I always say that wrong. I've said it wrong in the episode too. Anemo water to the world. So hey, without further ado, I'm gonna shut up. Let's bring Mario right on in here.
Business strategy.
Mario, welcome to Shark Bite Biz. You, my friend, you just became shark bait.
Thank you so much. It's my pleasure to be here.
Awesome. No, it's my pleasure to have you. So we have a tradition on this show. Very first question we ask everybody, okay? Where do you come from? What do you do for a living? How'd you get there? Basically, in a nutshell, tell us what makes Mario, Mario.
I'm an entrepreneur from Europe. I had more than several companies behind me. I was always very, very passionate about health and wellness. I'm always interested. I always had this firm belief that our bodies were created perfect, and our bodies have this innate, extraordinary ability to heal and self-repair. I was always just interested in finding ways to assist that natural and powerful process in ways that truly help the body in natural way.
Right. So you do it in a natural way, but what's your definition of natural? One thing I've learned is everybody has a different definition of natural.
Yeah, I can understand that. So natural is non-synthetic. In a way that works with biological system, not against it, because there are many kind of medicines and everything which work good for some areas of our biology, but then they damage actually different parts of our biology. But I truly believe that when you're using methods which are truly aligned with the whole of our body and mind, then everything works together perfectly and everything fits.
Right. Isn't that crazy how you get everything that works together, mind, body, soul, heart, and it just really transforms a person when you get to that level, I think. I don't know. That's how I feel. That's been my recent life journey.
Exactly. And I agree with you 100%. There is, when we start to look in every single part of ourselves as a whole, then we can really unleash our true potential of every single human being.
Okay, so that's great. Let's talk. Yeah, totally agree with that, by the way, not blowing it off, but I do want to really talk about some of the tech of what you do. Let's talk about first New Earth Technologies, and if you could just talk about that and how you came up with what you call, quote unquote, the miracle of Analema water. Am I pronouncing that right? Analema water. Okay. And you came up with the miracle of that. So why don't you kind of go through that story and tell us how you got from point A to point where you're at now?
Well, just to give a short background. So, since I mentioned that I was always passionate about health and wellness, so I owned a pharmaceutical company, natural pharmaceutical company, and I ran it for years, and I really helped thousands of people and thousands of people, and it was truly gratifying and amazing process. After a while, I kind of reached the peak, and I held it there for many years. Then I decided to sell the company, and I sold it to Walgreens. And then I decided if I am going to kind of work again and immerse myself in something, it truly needed to be for the highest good of all, something that would truly help the environment, help humans, help animals, help plants. And how universe arranged it, I came to the Analema project. It's a project of coherent water. And as soon as I got introduced to the whole project, my mind was really blown because it did exactly that. It has profound effects on human health, on animal health, on plant health, and on the environment in whole. So it really I just threw myself into the whole project. Just so you know, our founders of Analema Water are actually Dr. Eric Larker and Dolf Zantinge, two Dutch scientists. They actually created the water. I came after they created it, and I helped with human studies and everything that we did to prove that there is something biologically remarkable happening when people drink this water. And also we did all kinds of other studies. So this is my path, how I entered into it. And I just couldn't be happier, and I couldn't be more grateful just to be the part of the whole thing.
So there actually is something in the water.
I mean, people don't realize it. I mean, this is something most people aren't aware. 99, we all understand that 70% of our body weight is water. I mean, that in and of itself is extraordinary. But when you look at it from the molecular side, 99% of our molecules are water. I mean, we're basically very clever H2O when you look at it. So then you see that there is something extraordinarily important about water. And our research clearly proved that. Our research proved that when you change the water in a profound way, biology follows.
How did they? Okay, first off, okay, you're considered a natural pharmaceutical company with your water. Is it like regulated at all? Is it something that, I don't know, like in the US here with FDA, for example, is it something that goes through that process?
Just so you know, this natural pharmaceutical company was before. So it has not, I sold that company. I ran it for years, and I sold it to Walgreens. And then I entered into this water project.
Okay, I was getting the two mixed up there, thinking
it's two completely different projects.
Okay, great. Thank you for the clarity. I'm sure a lot of people were kind of wondering the same as well too. So with Analema water, I mean, I understand that something different happens to the body once you drink it, but what actually happens? Are you drinking Analema water right now?
Of course, I'm only drinking Anemo water. When you really experience the effects of it, you really don't want to drink any other water. Anyhow, just to explain, it's a huge topic, and we have actually not a lot of time. So I'm just going to jump in to human studies. So since this water we realized in our research that water is a broadband absorber, receiver, and transmitter of energy, frequency, and vibration. And just so you know, famous scientist Nikola Tesla actually said famously that if you want to know the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. And water is the actual medium through which all of this happens. So to cut the long story short, and to have the time to tell the benefits of it, since this water is what we call an electromagnetic phenomenon, we wanted to see what is the most electromagnetic part of a human being. It's our brainwaves. So what we did a double-blind test with identical twins. Identical twins is when you do a study with identical twins, it's always the gold standard because you have two genetically identical human beings. So what we did, we put QEEG equipment on their heads and we monitored their brainwaves. And what we did, we gave the doctor administering the test didn't know which water was which, and twins didn't know which one was which. But one twin actually drank Anemo water from the glass, and the other one drank regular water. And almost as soon as the twin that drank Anemo water took a sip of this water, there was almost instant better connection between the left and the right hemisphere of the brain, and almost instant cooling effect on the brainwaves, while the other twin didn't experience anything. Now, that was really something remarkable to observe. What we did is a couple of weeks later, we repeated the experiment and we gave Anemo water to the other twin. And since these two are genetically identical twins, we saw exactly the same phenomenon as we saw with the first one. So there was really irrefutable evidence that something remarkable happens.
But what actually is happening? Like, what is the benefit of what is happening? That's where I'm confused at.
Cool, totally. I mean, now it's going to get a bit scientific. So since water is, as I mentioned, water is a broadband absorber, receiver, and transmitter of energy, frequency, and vibration, it's always going to pick up the most dominant frequency of its environment. When we realized this in our research, we actually picked up the famous, the whole lab with all the scientists of the famous German scientist, Dr. Fritz Albert Popp. So he actually developed this biophoton technology, which we used in the beginning to actually measure the changes of water. So the key element is when we realized that water is always going to pick up the most dominant frequency of its environment, our whole quest was to create the most dominant positive frequency water there is. Because we knew that if we would expose any other water to it, all of the water will pick up exactly the same frequency. That's why it works. So when you take a glass of Anemo water and you drink it, since 99% of our molecules of water, they instantly pick up that particular frequency. And as I mentioned, there is almost instant effect on the brainwaves. And this is very, very measurable and very, very repeatable. So you can see it every single time. And this is just the beginning. As I mentioned, we wanted to see where the water works the fastest. This was the fastest. It's almost instant. Then, since we realized in our biophoton research we had a big greenhouse in the Netherlands, we actually measured how plants respond to the changes in the water. And we realized, just to explain the biophoton phenomenon, every single living thing exudes these tiny particles of light called biophotons. And you need very, very delicate and sensitive equipment that can actually capture every single biophoton. And we had this technology. So we realized that tomatoes that we grown with regular water, with Anemo water, in comparison to tomatoes grown with regular water, they exude over 60% more light.
Say regular water, are you talking bottled water? Are you talking tap water?
Tap water, yeah, just tap water, and the same tap water that we treated. So it's basically the same water. This was just treated water, and then it entered into this coherent state. So anyhow, the tomatoes grown with Anemo water, they exude over 60% more biophotons than tomatoes grown with regular water. This actually inspired us to see how can we measure that in humans. And then we came up to ATP. ATP, adenosine triphosphate, which is the primary energy currency of the cell. So it's actual mitochondrial energy of our bodies. Every heartbeat, every breath depends on ATP. And what's also interesting is that scientists clearly in the last couple of decades realized that decline of mitochondrial function is the key cause of cellular aging. So it was a profound study, and we did double-blind placebo-controlled test where we took the quote-unquote snapshot of ATP levels in participants of the study. Then they drank 1.5 liters of NLM water per day without changing anything else in the world. They didn't change their diets, they didn't change their exercise regime, didn't change anything else. The only thing that they changed is that they drank 1.5 liters of NLM water per day. And after 2 months, only 2 months, we took another snapshot of ATP levels, and we had 20% rise over the placebo in overall mitochondrial energy of the body. When you calculate the placebo end, that's 26, almost 30% of your energy.
Does that mitochondria, I'm horrible with scientific words, the mitochondrial energy that you're talking about, how does that positively affect a person? That's what I'm confused on.
In every way you can actually imagine. This is actual energy of your body. If you give your body, I mean, we're not talking about sugar energy or Red Bull energy.
What I'm asking is like, okay, this is not like a Red Bull, but does it give you more energy? Like, for example, I need more energy to get through the day because I'm always tired and I'm always sluggish. So you're drinking your water, and that is going to give you, help you with that. But a 1.5 liters a day is what you need to drink.
1.5 liters a day. Yeah, this is the study parameters. I actually drink more. I drink only NLM water if I can. Wherever I am, I always kind of carry.
And how many cases of this water are you sending out to the podcast?
Well, we'll definitely send one NLM for you so you can actually try and experience the benefit, because it truly is remarkable. Anyhow, to come back to the whole story. So people usually connect ATP to muscle performance because ATP is crucial for muscle contraction, but more than that. You know what is the biggest spender of ATP in our body?
I have no idea, to be truthful. I am not one area I'm not educated on is actually like the human body. So you're educating me.
It's actually the brain. 25% of our overall energy goes to our brain. For one neuron to send an impulse to neighboring cell, it needs to hydrolyze 1 billion ATP molecules, and you have billions of neurons. So 25% of all of our energy goes to our brains. And that's why people who have higher ATP levels, they have much better cognitive performance. Everything connected to the brain power actually is much more pronounced if you have higher ATP levels.
So is that kind of like, and I forget the exact word, so forgive me, everybody out there listening, for my ignorance if I'm mispronouncing this, but is that like a neutronics or whatever they call it?
Nootropics, you mean? It's not this is the interesting thing. It's not a chemical thing. It's something completely different, because nootropics are actually chemicals. This is something which works on a much more wholesome or holistic level. As I mentioned, your brain waves change almost instantly. Mitochondrial function, this is also very interesting about mitochondria, because this clearly proves that drinking water improves mitochondrial function. And what is the mitochondrial function? Transferring fats and sugars into energy. So because fats and sugars are our primary fuel.
That sounds like weight loss to me.
Well, we're not going there, and we're not claiming any of that. We're just saying that over your overall biology gets really, really positive change. So the third study, actually the second study, the third study that we did is actually microbiome. I don't know if you're familiar with the microbiome. So the science in the last couple of decades connected the state of our microbiome to the state of every single part of our health. Just so you know, people always talk about, serotonin and kind of its connection to the mood.
I know serotonin.
Yeah. So I don't know if you're aware that 95% of serotonin is being created in our gut.
Oh, wow. That is crazy. I did not know that.
And it's being transferred to our brain through the gut-brain axis. And then it creates these neural pathways in our brain. And it's so the state of our microbiome, because bacteria in our gut are actually creating serotonin. So the state of your microbiome determines the state of your mood, which is really crazy when you look at it from that perspective. But anyhow, it's a very wide topic, and not to bore.
I'm got to tell you right now, I am being more educated on water, the body anatomy than I probably have been since I did college, because it is it's not a topic I get into every day, and I really love when I get a guest like you on, because I am ignorant to a lot of what you're talking about, and this is like a true masterclass as far as being taught with everything that you're teaching me.
It's I'm telling you, I'm beyond fascinated by it. And when you really take a dive into this, it really is a mind-blowing thing. And that's why I'm saying I'm so happy and grateful to be part of this project, because when you witness such profound changes in people, in humans, you just cannot kind of be, to be honest, all of us in the project, we feel that we are serving this water, not the other way around. But anyhow, to come back.
So I do have some hard questions for you then.
Please.
Okay. First off, how do you know, well, I'll start with the easier one first. Let me retract. Okay. What exactly is in the water itself that differentiates that? You got a little bit into that, I think, in the beginning when we first started talking, but you didn't go into much detail. I understand trade secrets and stuff like that. You can't spill out your whole recipe, but give us an idea of what is in there, so that way people, if they were to purchase your water, that they feel safe and secure that they're drinking something that would be good for them.
Most definitely. It's actually very clear. I always kind of use, just to explain to people the whole concept. For instance, if you take a light bulb of 5 watts, it will give you some light. But if you take 5-watt laser, which is a form of coherent light, of focused light, you can actually drill a hole through your table. But we are talking about the same power. It's just about the coherence of it. So to explain to people the difference between regular water and coherent water. So we realized in all of our research that water currently exists in what we call a chaotic state. So H2O molecules, they move chaotically, they crash into each other constantly. But since all this is happening on an atomic level, nobody really is aware of that. We found a way to create order, so to speak, in the water itself. What happens is that those same H2O molecules...
And this is how you talk about it being a structured water.
Exactly. So water, H2O molecules start forming a liquid crystalline structure or liquid crystalline state. So there is no more chaos there. All of the molecules, they colloquially speaking, join hands, and they move in unison, so to speak. And through this particular process, water becomes alive. It actually becomes empowered. That's where the true power of water is being unleashed. That's why we are having such profound effects on biology. So it's the same water in terms of its chemical composition. But from a holistic point of view, what happens deep on a molecular level of water, but more even on a frequency level of water, there is complete change there.
Okay. Well, I will take your word for it as I do a trial. I know you'd said some, but if you send enough for me to do a 2-3 day test before I publish this episode, that would be amazing, because then I can be a testimonial for you right there before the interview and what I thought about it.
Most definitely. But you know what I'm going to invite you to do, because some people are very sensitive and they can experience the change immediately. Some people can't, but that's why we're doing these double-blind placebo-controlled studies, so that independent study, all of our studies are independent and double-blind placebo-controlled. So just so you know that if when you use it, you are going to get the benefit. But what I'm going to invite you to do is something which is very visual and very powerful to do, and anybody can do it. So you take 2 basil plants, okay? And you water one with regular water and you water one with Anemo water. And you do this for 3 weeks. Okay. And then you cut their water supply, and you can even increase the stress. You can even increase the heat on them. You really create something that would really very powerfully in a very short period of time hurt basil plant, which is very delicate. And then I invite you to observe to see what's happening with the basil plant that was watered with an Anemo water in comparison to the one that was watered with regular water. And you are going to be very visually surprised, because the result is pretty dramatic.
Oh, I can 100% imagine. And believe me, I'm not asking these types of questions. I'm not trying to say, oh,
no, I completely understand you.
I want to give people confidence in what you're doing. So my next question is, on one of those hard questions, is what kind of proof or evidence do you have that this will not have any long-term type effects, negative effects on the human body?
In all of our studies, you always, when you do a proper studies, you have to measure any adverse effects. We never had any. And just so you know, it's the same water. So you're not changing the chemical composition of it. So for all intended purposes, it is the same water. The only difference is its frequency. That's the only difference. And again, just to emphasize, in all of our studies, we never, ever had any adverse effect. So it's not even like usually when you're doing even natural kind of pharmaceuticals or supplements or whatever, there is always some a degree of some sort of side effects. And here we don't have any, because it's water. It's just water. Of course, water needs to be, if it's polluted water in some way, then those chemical elements can have some effect. But if the water is proper for drinking, there are no whatsoever side effects.
So then I assume that then would answer my final question, which would be as far as the impact, plant, soil, the environment, stuff like that. Because again, I mean, you pretty much just answered what I was going to ask for the last hard question was, it's not going to be doing any damage outside, to the ecosystem or anything like that. It's
actually totally opposite. And I thank you so much for asking the question or bringing the conversation to this, because this is truly where I mentioned this environmental impact of this water. So what we did, since we are very much aware of the whole problem in the agriculture world and how we are growing food, and all the toxins that we're using in the large-scale agriculture, namely glyphosate, which is actually killing the soil. So what we did, we actually took completely destroyed piece of land, killed with all of these toxins. So we're talking about the piece of land that cannot bear any fruit whatsoever. So it's killed. You cannot grow anything on it. We really went far out to find dead piece of soil. And what we did, we watered one part of it with regular water and one part with Anemo water, because we were really intrigued to see what's going to happen. So the part of the soil that was watered with regular water, basically nothing happened. But the part that was watered with Anemo water, within only 2 months, there was a huge explosion in the biodiversity of the microbiome of the soil, so much so that this new bacteria, we started to flourish in the soil, started to suck CO2 out of the atmosphere into the soil where it belongs. But it didn't stop there. The whole nitrogen cycle of the soil improved dramatically. The total nitrogen in the soil increased dramatically. So within only 2 months, what you got is actually fertile piece of land that you can grow food on. And there is also one other really, really interesting phenomenon that happened. Usually when the rain falls, all of the nutrients from the top layer of the soil go deeper. But with NLM water, when you water the soil with NLM water, all of those nutrients actually are kept in the top layer where the plant can actually use it. So that's why I'm saying that, I mean, if you come back to the whole CO2 thing, we are having extraordinary issues with greenhouse gases and excess CO2 in our atmosphere. And this is very, very simple and very natural way to treat it. You just water the soil with NLM water, and bacteria in the soil will start sucking the CO2 out of the atmosphere into the soil, because we need to realize that plants and soil need CO2 just like we need oxygen. They breathe in CO2 and they breathe out oxygen. As I mentioned, planet Earth is such an amazing holistic organisms. What plants exhale, we inhale. That's why we need to bring this equilibrium back into the nature.
I got one very last question for you, Mario. Okay. And again, I'm not doing this to be mean, but I'm sure that you probably have a lot of critics out there that are going to be like, hey, what he's doing is pseudoscience, or it's not real, or blah, blah, blah. What do you have to say to anybody out there, possibly even listening to this show, being like, yeah, this is BS. This doesn't work. This isn't real. There's no way. Like I am an engineer or a scientist, and yeah, what he's talking about doesn't make sense. What's your answer to those people?
Just so you know, this is kind of a normal phenomenon. Every great scientific discovery starts as blasphemy. People started saying, no, it's not. But that's why we're investing so much in the hardcore science of it. That's why we're investing in double-blind placebo-controlled studies. And just to tell you, we barely started. Even though we already have like large scientific data, then we invite everybody to take a dive, to kind of go into it and see it. And then they will actually know. This is kind of normal. People have these kind of reactions. We just need to do our thing. And not only that, we are publishing the studies in peer-reviewed magazines as well. So you cannot actually do that if your science is not valid.
Okay. No, that's good. And well, I mean, you've got to remember, there have been reports of people that got peer-reviewed peer-reviewed studies in because, it went with a specific narrative.
I understand you. We really cannot do more than be 100% dedicated to this. And as I mentioned, we feel that we're serving this water, not the other way around.
But for the most part, I would say most of them are good. But hey, this is great. I think you just taught us a lot about water, about the body, about even the environment. And, this was totally different than what I expected it to be with the interview. But I loved it. You are amazing. I love what you're doing, Mario. Please tell us, where can people find out more about NLM water? Where can they find out more to connect with you if they want to learn more? Give us all your links and, contact info.
So people can go to coherent-water.com. That's coherent-water.com. And I invite people to join our newsletter, because we're constantly doing new science. Now we're actually going to do a deep dive into the microbiome, which is going to be truly, truly, truly exciting, because every single microbiome is like a fingerprint. It's unique, even though we did already double-blind placebo-controlled microbiome study, but we want to go much, much, much deeper. We're going to do the whole DNA sequencing of every single bacterial species and phyla, because every single species is connected to any area of particular of health. So we really want to do a deep dive on the effect of this water on the microbiome. And we're doing really a lot of studies. So if anybody's interested, they can follow our work there. And also, of course, we're also on Instagram, Facebook. People can find us and follow our research. It's truly groundbreaking research, and we're really finding out. We had so many oh my God moments, to be honest, in our research that it is really kind of crazy. I have to mention one just before we go, because it's really kind of, it really blew our minds. So we did a study on biophoton emissions of seeds. We watered some seeds with regular water and some seeds with NLM water. And when we measured biophoton emissions, the seeds that were watered with regular water, we didn't see nothing special. But with seeds, I mean, this is a tiny living thing. It's a seed. So with seeds watered with NLM water, we started seeing these peaks and valleys of biophoton emission, this sinusoidal shape. And we didn't realize what was happening there. Why? And after a while, we realized that it followed the tides. So we realized that water connected this tiny particle of life with the circadian rhythm of nature. It connected it to its larger electromagnetic environment.
That's funny. You say the circadian rhythm, and I'm a big believer of this has nothing to do with what we're talking about. I'm looking to see if I have the copy of it here. But there's a book that I read that's about the basically circadian rhythms just in history in general, 80-year cycles and stuff like that. And it was written back in 97. So it's a great book. I love it. I always recommend it to everybody. The name is just escaping me right now. I think William Strauss or Strauss was one of the authors. But anyways, yeah, go ahead. When you said that, it just kind of clicked in my head, because that's kind of the
Yeah, of course. This is the thing. This water connects us electromagnetically to our larger environment. And what is our larger environment? Planet Earth. We become part of nature in a much larger way. And this really humbled us, to be honest, because we really saw that there is something truly special happening here, purely from the electromagnetic point of view. That's why we're so dedicated to continue investing in this, and we're investing in several avenues. We haven't even touched, I'm telling you, there are so many, there's such a short period of time. But anyhow, if you would be willing, we can kind of repeat, because there are a lot of stuff to touch upon.
No, I could definitely have you back on another year or two from now. But anyways, Mario, what's your website one last time so people have it fresh in their minds?
So coherent-water.com.
And where are they able to buy the water at?
They can buy it on, if somebody wants to buy, they can buy it on the website. We have several applications, larger ones, smaller ones. And just so you know, we kind of decided to keep the price very affordable. Just so you know, when you buy this wand with which you're creating coherent water, if you don't break it, if you buy it, please take care of it. It's a jewel.
Yeah.
If you don't break it, it will create coherent water for you for life.
Wow. That is.
So this is also interesting. We haven't touched upon why, the whole science of it, but anyhow, we don't have time. But just to mention to all people, we decided, even though we knew that we could put much higher price on it, we decided to kind of keep it so that our whole goal and the mission statement of our company is to make all of the bodies of water on this planet coherent, and that we put at least this wand into hands of every single family
that you can.
Every family, one per family. That's okay.
One per family. That's good.
Yeah.
Hey, Mario, awesome. Huge believer in alternative type of stuff, like what you're talking about, what you're doing, and you're proving that. I mean, everything I kind of think starts out alternative until it's proven as fact. And
Yes.
I think you're on the road of doing things the right way. So, hey, I know you wanted to talk about so much more. Unfortunately, we have a time limit with our podcast. But thank you so much for coming on. You're amazing. The work that you're doing with Anema water is amazing, and I can't wait to get some and try it myself.
Thank you so much, David. Thank you so much. And I'm sending one your way, so you are going to have your own experience. Thank you so much.
Perfect. Thank you very much, sir. Take care. Have a good one.
Bye-bye.
Wow, that was an incredible chat with Mario, right? Who knows? Health gets so into science and all that stuff. Well, I guess we all kind of knew that. But still, anyways, it was still really fun. First of all, you know the routine. If you found this interview helpful, if it sparked those warm and fuzzies, do me a favor, hit that like button, smash that subscribe button, because you know Shark Bite Biz is the greatest kept secret in the world of small business. But if you really want to help us out, please share us out with your friends, your colleagues, your family, wherever you dwell on the interweb. I would love to see nothing more than Mario, his company, Anemo Water, all three of us in Shark Bite Biz out there trending. Now, I just want to say awesome stuff, Mario. Thank you so much for coming on, sharing your expertise. And again, please check out the Anemo water. I'm drinking it right now. I have a full glass of it, just like he's been saying, and I'm telling it, I love it. And I love what you're doing, Mario, and helping people get healthy when there are so many unhealthy options out there today. So question of the day: what do you think about Anemo water? What do you think about Mario's take on water? I'd love to hear your feedback on YouTube. Do you want to be on the show? Interviews at sharkbitebiz.com. Please, if you're watching on YouTube, join the channel. $3 a month, you can become a baby shark. That will help us grow, because every dollar in is every dollar we put out in ads. Also, thank you again to our sponsor, Stellar One Consulting. If you're on QuickBooks and you need to grow to the next level, you need a system that's going to cover your business from A to Z, then you need to reach out to Stellar One Consulting at stellar1consulting.com or stellar1.io, or reach out to me personally, and we'll help get your business to the next level. So you all know this by now, but I'll say it once again. I'm David Strausser. This is Shark Bite Biz. We'll see you all next episode. Ciao.
You've just experienced Shark Bite Biz with Dave Strausser. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the show to help us spread the word about personal, professional, and business growth. Want to be on the show? Send an email to interviews@sharkbitebiz.com. Special shout out to our sponsor, an SAP and Acumatica Gold Partner, Stellar One. Get off QuickBooks, automate businesses' processes, and have your business reach the stars. StellarOneConsulting.com, or reach out to the show. Till next episode.